Virgo.
Hello Virgo, this is your forecast for April 2014, and for you, well, you got a lot of intensity going on in your 8th house for sensuality, for sharing deeply with your partner, also looking at your resources that you might be having together. So financial things here coming in, top of the month especially, this area will be highlighted. It could have to do with joint ventures, perhaps some investments, or banking institutions. If you're looking for loans, this would be a great time to get one. And there might be a surprise for you here already on April 2nd. So on the 1st, you're kind of like looking at or having to make some decision in this area, and then you'll have some news, maybe even unexpected news on the 2nd. And then I see things coming together, really creating some more security, perhaps, maybe even with written documents here on April 3rd. So if you're going to sign for something, that looks good. Saturn here is going to secure things. Saturn you have in your 3rd house, which is also communication. So yes, if you're going to be talking to somebody here, as far as that goes, it should be really, really good for you. Now, we have a buildup of energy here, and we'll go through it as we go along because it's going to be a super intense month. But for you Virgos, you're so level-headed and down to earth that you're going to get through this. And but I do want to say that you might want to listen to this forecast twice. When you get to mid-month of April, you might want to come back, listen to it again, because there's so many dates, so many issues coming up, and they're coming in back to back, like boom, 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 chain reaction here. And if you go back to how things were around New Year's for you, some of you might have recalled that we had a lot of energy really coming together and joining, and we're a little fierce as far as perhaps feeling pressure to make some major decision. Now, some of you had some great visions here last year, last summer, coming in to the autumn and feeling like the doors were opening up. That was Jupiter. Jupiter, hopes, dreams, visions, remember? And so then from October onwards, something started to just like shut down, and it's been somewhat quiet there. I still see you having the vision, holding the vision, even though you haven't been able maybe to access it physically in a practical way yet, because Jupiter turned retrograde. Now from March 6th, Jupiter going direct again is going to reopen those doors, come back on track, and boy, is she going to be active here this month, because Jupiter is going to ask you, how much do you really want this that you're asking about or asking for? These dreams, hopes, visions, are you really sure you want this? Because, you know, now is the time that we're going to see things are going to start pushing through. Just like a birth, we have to have contractions first, okay? And so it might not be all that easy to get through, but you have asked for it. And here comes the universe in, all back to back from the 20th throughout the rest of the month. There's going to be a lot taking place all at once, but you'll start getting the signals from mid-month, around April 14th. That's why I'm saying listen to this now, and you're going to go, okay, yeah, right? But then as you see the energies are starting to build up, and it's like, what's going on here? Come back and re-listen again. It'll make more sense to you from April 15th onwards. But okay, let's start there. Top of the month, we got Mercury here. Like I said, might be looking into getting something signed, papers, documents, great time for it, or just making some handshake agreements as well. Then we have on the 3rd also the Sun, you, being confronted here by Pluto. Now the Sun being in the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio, that's already very deeply felt and intense in itself. Well, Pluto rules this house, but Pluto's 3 signs away. It's squaring up against it. And Pluto is that point of transformation. For you, this has to do either with love relationships, it could have to do with your children, or also hobbies, all right, or those things that you like to do when you're creative. And it's also these creative projects that we may do, not necessarily connected to career, but a project that you would like to work with. Now, this square is more like also the universe saying, how much would you like to invest in this? Because it's the house of investments. And right now, your sun being there and Uranus being there, that's where you're investing. And if you don't really know exactly what to answer the universe on that day, you will have a lot of chance to work on it here in April. Now, on the 5th, Venus is moving out of your day-to-day routines, health-oriented matters, and how you work with your coworkers. You've been there all through March, but now, see, it's moving into the area of love and relationships, long-term, committed type relationships, which can represent your spouse, or also maybe a new love coming in, and in that case, it might be a very serious relationship. Venus loves being in this area because it rules this house. It's the house of Libra, and it's the house of love, and being in the sign of Pisces. Well, Pisces is all about love. That's the higher octave of love, not just love by attraction in the physical embodiment. The Neptunian love is love of spirit, the recognition that you see in your mate. It's cosmic love. So, wow, April is going to be fantastic as far as love goes, following Venus, and pay attention to what I say about Venus a little bit later, around the 18th as well. But at least now she's moving in there on the 5th. On the 7th, Mercury, thought, communication, anything written, the way you communicate and who you communicate to and how you communicate is moving into Aries, okay? So it's not going to be as laid back like it was in March. Now in April, it's going to be more fiery, it's going to be more to the point specific. It's got that Marsian energy to it, so you might be very quick to respond, quick to answer, and maybe a little even premature at times because the other planet's pressure that's coming in. So we have the Sun moving in opposition to Mars on the 8th. This will be between the 2nd, 8th house, has to do with your income, your money, the money you make, how you feel about yourself, self-worth. This is where Mars is at and has been for a long time now. You know, we've talked about that last couple of months, and it's still going to be here way beyond May, because May 20th it will turn around from its retrograde. It's currently retrograde. It's going to turn direct May 20th, and then it still has time to get out of this area of the 2nd house before we move along here sometime there, July, August. I'd have to look at the date there. So a long time now, you're having ample time to figure out how you make your money, what you're making, is it enough? You know, do you deserve more? Mars is all goals and ambitions, so it's like you're more focused on money than you normally do. But for a reason, you might be looking at how you can save money or put aside. Then we have Venus and Neptune on the 12th. Beautiful romantic evening. Time to put up a special date night. Here on the 12th, Venus and Neptune, 7th house for long-term committed relationships. Some of you might just have the big commitment going on here, April 12th. Note that on your calendar. And if you're not ready to have the big engagement or wedding, well, it could just be that emotional commitment that you have with your partner, or finding a new love here. Best time of the month is the 12th. Then we have the 14th. Now we have this week following, leading up to the 20th, when things are really going to start shaking a little bit. So this week, from the 14th to the 20th, you will start receiving a few signals that something now is starting. It's like these small little, subquakes before we get the bigger ones. On the 14th, Mercury, which is your communication, the way you think, and Jupiter, which is your hopes and dreams, and it's in the area of hopes and dreams, Jupiter, and your social network, friendships, and all that. Jupiter now moving direct, it's been retrograde for so many months. So you'll see how Jupiter is now wanting to really embrace your friends and spend more time with them. And this could be friends both close and afar. But Mercury is going to say, hey, what's up with this? You know, there's something, agreement or communication that's coming in that might be a little challenged, and it might be a little surprising because on the very same day, Mercury is going to be conjunct Uranus, which brings things out of the blue. You know, expect the unexpected with Uranus. And Uranus for you is in this 8th house of intimacy, of bonding deeply, you know, sensuality, sexuality, but it's also institutional money or money that you have with your partner. There might be an unexpected communication with your partner if you're feeling that you're paying too much and she paying too little, or vice versa. Maybe they're going to bring up a financial situation with you too on the 14th. And there's a little reaction to this. Mercury, same communication that you were talking about on the 14th. Well, now Mercury is going to be squaring off on Pluto. Pluto in your 5th house. So here children is involved. Maybe some more money has gone out to the children more than to the partner, and then the partner's something. You might know what this is because it's a long-term thing that you've been working on. Go back to autumn. Go back to New Year's. What happened? Here we go again. And the same situation now resurrecting. And Mars is also tying in here on the 16th. So we got the 14th, 15th, 16th. Now Mercury is going to kick in with Mars. And Mars is impulsive. It wants to react. It wants to really say something, verbalize something. So there might be a disagreement here due to what's been going on over those last couple of days. What I'd like to say, make sure that you don't sound like final. Don't give any ultimatums right now. You'll be sorry later next week. Try to keep it open. Try to keep it as balanced as you can. Mars being in Libra, balance it the best you can. Try to not fly off the hook. What's coming in, what's feeling like shaky grounds right now, Venus is coming in to secure both Jupiter and Pluto that's reacting here and will be reacting next week. Venus is love, okay? So try to find the love in the middle of all this confusion and stay firm. Venus here now being in the sign of Pisces, and in your partnership house, Venus rules love, but it also rules money, and this might be a money situation, to-do situation. So try to not just look at the financial or the physical side of Venus, but look at the higher level of Venus, hopes, dreams, visions, connecting here to Jupiter, wanting to open up more of an optimistic picture, the long-term picture. This is where you've got to keep your eyes right now, because whatever's being said in these days and in the following week might have a lot of impact, okay? And you don't want to shut down on yourself. That can be a self-sabotage. Go with the love, go with a long, far-reaching picture. And thank you for whoever reminded me that far-fetched and far-reaching is two different things. I'm Norwegian, so the far-reaching vision, because Venus is also coming in with support from Pluto that can transform all of this, okay? And really bring a really good, solid solution to it all. So if you can do that on the 18th, take time to meditate and be close to the love that you feel for whoever's involved, because on the 20th, here we go. The sun is moving into Taurus. Taurus isn't as flexible, okay? Taurus wants what it wants. It wants to secure what it wants, so we can become very stubborn, maybe even bullheaded, especially when these planets that are coming up, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, okay, we are going to be tested. And this isn't just you, Virgo. This goes for everybody. We're all going to be feeling it, but we're going to be feeling it different places in our charts, okay? For you, Virgo, these, let me just point out which area is going to be triggered for the most part. It is going to be between your hopes and dreams and the groups of friends, you know, the ideal thinking, and children, or also your creativity and self-expression. This is going to be opposed like this and really feeling the extremes. And then we have the 8th house for money, financial situations, or also intimacy issues with partner. So this is where the big trio is going to, fall out. Then we have Mars also coming in here for the second house of either money and income or self-worth. So we're having these two oppositions standing against each other. 20th, it's going to be difficult with Jupiter squaring off on Uranus. Jupiter is going to be opposing Pluto, and then we're going to have Uranus squaring up on Pluto, and then we got Mars squaring up on Jupiter. We're going to have Mars opposing Uranus, and then we got Mars squaring up on Pluto. What does that all mean for those of you who don't really know the lingo of astrology? So let me just say, something wants out, something wants an end, something says this is it. Can't do it no more this way. Something's got to give, something's got to transform, and that's what Pluto's going to help. Actually, you've been asking for a major change, and now it's coming. So hopefully early on you've already seen in your mind where you're heading, where you're wanting to go. That's all you need to keep in focus and keep love in your heart as you're heading down this road here, because in order to get to that goal, you can't get there if you haven't left the old room. Stepping into a new room, you got to get out of your comfort zone, got to get out of the past. So here we go. And these major changes may either be for you or your partner, because your partner, being another sun sign, will have a different chart. So that partner may be going through the exact same pressure and changes, but in different areas than you. So you may be affecting him or her, and he or she may be affecting you where you're at. So there's an interactive thing. So definitely listen to your partner's sun sign for April too, just to know where he or she is coming from, what you can expect from that sign. So as you see, a lot of things are going on, but it is all good. It is positive. And yes, we've been asking for change here ever since last summer or before. And here we go. It's really starting to break through. You had a taste top of the year. Now we have it again. We're going to have one final get through later on this summer here with the oppositions. But for right now, this is what you have to work with, Virgo. And do know that Mars is retrograde, has been since March 1st, will stay retrograde to May 20th. So even though these things are happening between the 20th, or say starting 14th through the 24th, the main outcome is not coming yet. Mars being retrograde is going to give you time for whatever choices being made now to work it. Go back over, work it, tweak it, find your balance, and then from the end of May, things are going to be a little lighter on the note of being able to move forward with your ambitions and drives. And then Saturn will still remain retrograde until July 20th, okay? So you're going to have time to work all of this out. And Saturn, of course, having to do with structure, foundation, and karma. All of this is affecting your karma. You'll have time to square it away to the end of July. So, yes, we're going to be looking at some very interesting months, but it won't be as intense as this month. April is really like shooting that arrow, right? Hitting the target. And now comes the cleanup, the balancing out, positioning yourself so that when we get to August, it's like totally new horizon and goals, and we're going to feel totally free. But we have some time now to work. And end of the month, we have the new moon on April 29th, and that will be in the sign of Taurus. For you, this will be in your ninth house. And the new moon for you is all about just starting off on new projects, new, should I say, perhaps maybe even wanting to start a new class, because the ninth house is all about wanting to study and grow and become more of who we are. It's also all those higher truths, and it also has to do with travel. In that case, it will be long distance travel. Now, the full moon for you will be on April 15th. Will be in the sign of Scorpio, just coming into your third house here as we enter into the 15th. Your third house is more short distance travel, to and fro, being busy and harvesting things here, communication being really important, And the type of information that you receive here on the 15th can be quite exciting, unexpected. It's coming in just there as Mercury is also, facing off with a conjunction to Uranus. So yeah, a busy month, very busy month, and I wish you well. I'm really looking forward to do your reading for May, just to see how all this has landed and where it's placing you next month. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't, so you can receive it. And I will let you go. Just make sure that you listen to your moon and your rising sign on your way out now, and that of your partner too. So have a good one, Virgo. Bye for now.
Do you follow Karen's Daily Scopes yet? If not, and wonder what they hold, click the sample link below and listen to both the Astroscope and Tarot Scope, and get a feel for what you can expect in your love, career, and financial outlook for today.